Hello, I'm going to show you now how to load a macro into a blank Excel worksheet. I have the macro here already open. It's Notepad. This is just the text of the macro. So the first thing we're going to do is open Excel. And it opens with a blank Excel worksheet. So we're going to record a macro. Oops. So we're going to record a macro. This is going to be called macro 1. Doesn't actually matter what we do here, so we'll just do this. And that's now recorded the macro. So we now stop the macro. We'll now delete this. So we're now back again to having a completely blank worksheet. And we'll view the macro. So it's ready on macro 1. Edit that. And this is totally irrelevant. We're going to overwrite this. So delete that. Open the Notepad. And using Control A, highlight everything. Control C, copies everything. And we're now back in module 1 on the Excel spreadsheet, and Control V pastes everything. So we now have the macro loaded into the Excel spreadsheet. We can close module 1 and we'll now save the Excel spreadsheet, but we'll save it as an Excel macro enabled workbook. Notice it's a Excel macro enabled workbook, and we'll save that into the testo file, testo translations folder. Doesn't actually matter what you call it, because the macro is written in such a way that it reads its own name when it needs to, but I'll call it translations. It'll automatically take the extension when we save it. So we've now saved the workbook. We can close that. I'm just going to open Testo and show you how we can change the translation. So I'm going to go into this one here because I know some of the stuff that's in this one. These are some of the jobs. Some of these have been translated into German already. You can tell because they're not in uppercase. I'm just going to scroll down. And there we go. There's one that's translated into German. I'm going to translate it into English. Its name in the jobs list is status Ivanos 1 ist. So we'll just go into the translations folder, open the text file, I'll just minimize this so I can see the translation there. Find status underscore evanos 1 underscore ist. Doesn't matter whether it's uppercase or lowercase, because I haven't got match case ticked. Find next, and there it is. Now in German, ist means is, and soll means should or shall. So this is what I'm going to do now. Copy this and go into Google Translate, and it comes out as Inlet Vanos Bank 1. Because we've got IST, that's is. Inlet Vanos Bank 1 is. So this is the actual reading for the Inlet Vanos Bank 1. Copy that and paste, and just write actual. And because we've got job L and job S, I don't actually know what that means, but we do know that they're both the same. And this one here is target. Just pasting this, and I'll change actual to target. I can copy that completely. Paste it with target. And I can go in and do various other translations. Now, if you were doing it for yourself, that's all you need to do. But because we're thinking about others, we're going to copy that and paste that into a new notepad file. Because if we were just to tell others that that's a translation, they would have to find each one of these in their list and manually transfer the translation. We're going to save this notepad file as I'm going to go into the standalone. Save it as underscore updates. I can close that. Now, what we'll do here is we will close this and not save it. Minimize Google. We'll close Testo. We'll close that. We'll go into translations. And I'm now going to run the translations macro. Options, enable macro, enable content, view, macros. I could have made this an auto open, but I decided not to because it's a bit dangerous, really. So what's happening now is it's just doing its stuff. Now the translations have been successfully updated. Press OK. Translations closes, and you can close Excel. The reason I've not closed Excel automatically is you might have had something else open in Excel. So I'll close that. Now we've run the translations macro. We've generated a new main file, and we've also saved the old file, and there's the date and time that we saved it at. There's the updates file that we've generated. Now what we have to do now is we have to run create translations bat. Now I could do this inside the macro. In fact, that's possibly what I'll do for the next edition of the macro. But we run that. So that's it run. Looks like it automatically generates all the text files. So it creates files for all the text files. But anyway, no need to worry about that. Let's minimize that. Open Testo. Scroll down to S54. We'll go down here and we should say instead of Einlass, we've now got Vanosbank actual. There we are, there's the English translations.